Notice the life which is in the pressure of the body pressing against the chair. Notice the aliveness which is the face. And that which is the sensations that arise as the body breathes itself. It's familiar, isn't it, to come home, to gather together, and to do this greeting, this bowing to the present moment. To be willing to be open to the 5 hindrances. Noticing, is the mind colored with desire? Does it want to be doing something else? Is it hungering for some pleasure? Or is it disliking, aversive to the present moment? Is there restlessness, agitation, worry, or sloth and torpor, dullness? Is there doubt? And just as likely and perhaps more helpful, is there mindfulness? How often? Is there curiosity? Can we kindle being curious? What is going on here? Is there concentration? Is the mind tranquil? Is it shot through with equanimity, accepting whatever's happening? Is there persistence, effort? Is there joy, delight? And so we abide in mindfulness as the breath comes and goes, as thoughts come and go. We are engaged in a process which is of incalculable importance. In the midst of a mind which can think of anything, which arises because of conditionings from the past, which can be anything. Moment by moment, we are creating a point of stability in the universe. Moment by moment, we are cultivating mindfulness of thoughts, of feelings, of impulses, of emotions. Please don't lose heart when there's a lot of wandering mind or obsessing mind or anxious mind. When the top 5 of your particular neurotic conditioning are running. Instead, be supported by your friends here in practice. Plant another seed of mindfulness. Of presence. This breath right now is really worthy of noticing. This moment of awakening from wandering mind is worth acknowledging. There is a way that mindfulness and love are synonyms. When we embrace, I aspire to love and accept myself, my experience, the experience, exactly as it is in this moment. We are fundamentally supporting mindfulness, the ability to remain present and alive and conscious now. And it's the same with compassion, the close companion of love. When love meets suffering, the Buddha said, compassion is the sensitive heart's natural response to suffering. And so, when I'm hurting, when you're hurting, when you're distressed in some way, to greet that with love and mindfulness is the sensitive heart's natural trembling. And in this way, our practice is one of opening to greater and greater kindness and patience and compassion and loving. And it's without a lot of fancy words or descriptions. It's just the experience. We sit still and awaken right here in the middle of our lives. Right now, right here. To bring balance into any moment of our practice, to bring balance into any moment of our life. This moment is like this. My health, my medical conditions are like this. My children are like this. The state of the world politically is like this. The circumstance with the weather and the climate are like this. And we soften in love and awareness. As Ruth Denison put it, delighting in the beauty of our being. Letting each breath be a beacon and be profoundly nurturing. And please now let us notice the aliveness of the body, where the body makes contact with the chair. Let us notice the different temperatures here and there. Let us notice the sensations where the clothing touches the body. Let us notice the sounds that are around us, that are in us actually, where we know them. And bringing awareness to the face and the eyes, noticing the preparation, the intention to open the eyes. And then making that effort to peel back, to peel up the eyelids, and notice the arising of seeing. And the seeing may be crisp and clear, or not so crisp and clear. It's light, it's color, it's blurry, it's clear. It's also sensitive and vulnerable to change. So how did the poem go? But first I must insist on having the pleasure of eating my linguine con vongole. Probably mispronouncing that. Dipping chunks of crusty bread into the briny sauce. For this is also a poem about happiness. There is a very useful place for the psychological defense of compartmentalization. to be able to look outside in the beauty of a sunny morning, to see the exquisite way that Douglas fir branches hang. To notice the fancy new boots on the pipes that come through the new roof. To notice the keys hanging in the door where they were left on the way in. You ever do that? Just leave the keys in the lock, might as well. I have a couple of announcements. To reiterate, the picnic has been postponed due to COVID and temperature, probable temperatures, predicted temperatures. The second one is a request. I still need a person or two for demolition work on Sunday at 1 p.m. We're taking down a wall and a cupboard or two right outside the men's room. The city requires this as a part of their fire concerns. So if you can participate in that, please email me at robert@robertbeatty.com, and the particulars are very simple. Come with safety glasses and a tool or two, pry bar. I wanted to use explosives, but no one has supported me in it, so we're left to actually a funny aside. In my 20s, my girlfriend and I spent a winter. I was a ski patrolman in Andermatt. It's just a village at the top of the pass system in Switzerland, between Zurich and Milano. And the place we found, she ran the cable car, and the place we got to live was a cow barn about a kilometer outside of the town. And we cleaned the cow shit up and put up insulation and made a little house for ourselves. And in looking around, I found a large barrel, I don't know, 50 pounds, 80 pounds of black powder. And by spring, there was very little of it left because we had no trash pickup, of course. And so I would take the trash out about 20 feet from the house or 30 feet and cover it in black powder and then run a line to the front door and then psh, it was really fun. We had a lot of trash left over in the spring when the snow melted. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The other announcement I have is this one. You will find in the chat a link to the fundraising letter. And I want to share with you a little bit of my experience with raising funds. It started out being really difficult to ask people for money. And sometimes, depending upon the mental state, it can still go that way. And I was writing an email to someone just the other day, 2 days ago, asking for a contribution. And I watched all the states come through. The first one was, oh no, I don't want to intrude on the friendship. And they're picking up the trash right now. But then the shift happened, and the shift is really an interesting one, which is this fundraising ask is actually a gift to you and to everyone that receives the letter. We have together the opportunity to build something astounding. to support an organization and a building that transforms lives, that actually makes a difference in the world. So it's not just, at one level it's a financial transaction, but more fundamentally it's a transaction of the heart. And that then changes things for me, which is when I pull out my metaphorical checkbook. I actually still have a checkbook. That's interesting. But to reflect, why am I doing this? And to really feel one's way into it, to not do it unconsciously, but then to realize, so what am I contributing to? I'm contributing to doors and well, how about this one? I'm contributing to a wheelchair ramp that will allow persons who otherwise would never make it into the center to get in. Mark, who I'll be seeing today, midday, I go to his home to see him now, who was in the fundraising video way back at the beginning of this. He has Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and I go to him once a week and read poetry because he can't speak anymore. He can write me very painstakingly using his eyes to push. He's got a computer that allows him to write. But they're always very short little notes because it's so tedious. But he'll be able to, if the permit would just get here, he'll be able to enter the center for the first time. We had a ramp, a horrible little metal ramp that we managed to get him in a few times with. And Jeannie Mooneyham, who's not been able to get in the center for a couple of years, she'll be able to get in because of our generosity. So I ask you, take a look at the letter when it arrives. Feel your way into it. And then give until your heart feels full. One of the ways that I've always practiced, I did this with Ruth for decades, which was to contemplate what felt right, and then stretch it a bit. Because then I was being generous. Then I was going beyond what just the mere calculation of. So that's we're in this together. We're doing something of incredible importance. And thank you to everyone who's already contributed very generously. And I guess one other announcement is that from the 20th to the 30th, I am going dark, turning off all electronics and we've rented an RV, and we're going to Eastern Oregon outside of cell service. And the other teachers will be teaching during that time, Sundays and also the morning meditations. I'm looking forward to the time. It's very interesting how the people who know me well and love me are saying, leave the computer at home, because I might just be tempted. Would I? I'm the heroin addict with a vial of heroin beside me. Do you think I'd be tempted? Okay. So I think that's what I have to share, and I invite any sharing you would like to offer. I'm prompted to thank Dan Leif and all the teachers for filling in for me in my time that I'll be away, and also Dan Leif, who has agreed to make any decisions that I would normally make around the construction during my absence. And Gregory, who will be holding down the fort with all my emails and things like that. So it's wonderful to know there are really capable people who are taking over. And Jim Dalton, the friend of a lifetime, will be here on the morning Zooms. It's great. Hello. Oh, Kim, hello. Uh-huh. Huh. Mm. 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 You mean you should be more prepared and confident and ready to go and healthy and... Huh. You ready for a blessing? You should try harder. Or I have another blessing. You ready? I hope you're going to lead by telling them you're not feeling well. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Tell the truth, and you could even say, "I wish I was more prepared, but I've been sick." Are you gonna? I wonder if everyone's gonna be scared you have COVID if you say you're sick. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Is this a meeting on Zoom or in person? Oh, Zoom. I see. So you're not going to infect them no matter what. Yeah. Oh, just be gentle and honest. What the heck? You know? I love you too, Kim. Have a great meeting. Great. I once had a best friend for 13 years. His name was Bob Braun. He was a Rolfer. We met at a conference. I was teaching meditation and he was talking about body work. We decided to do a trade and we became really good friends. We met every Friday morning for racquetball. We met at 9 and we had lunch together, and that was our weekly meeting. And we skied together. He got me back skiing. And when all my other men friends fell away when I had my first child, they didn't want to spend time with me with my kid. He said, of course I'll spend time with you and the baby, because that's what you're doing right now. And we taught a workshop at the beach together one time. And something happened, and I can't even remember what it was. I really felt like I failed badly. And I was very ashamed. And on the way home in the car, he said something. It's interesting. I remember what he said, but not how I failed. And he said, Robert, when you're on your deathbed, do you think any of this failing or succeeding is going to be of any significance? You know, why don't you let go of it? And here I am. And then he died. He had a stroke. It's a long time ago now, 20 years or 17 years or something. That was a shock. Boy, that was a big one. And it was great advice. So what if a meeting goes poorly or something doesn't work? It's all just passing by. And so setting ourselves free from... It's funny, I remember it so distinctly, riding in the car and him saying that. You know, it's one of the few things maybe the only thing I remember him saying in 13 years. The other thing I remember, it's so silly, was we took great delight somehow. It was like small boys hiding each other's underwear in the locker room. So when the person came to look for them, they weren't there. Very fun, very weird. But I remember that statement from him very clearly. Doesn't matter. Hello, Joy, our Canadian. Mm-hmm. Mm. There's something that's become clearer and clearer to me, and I'll bet it's pretty clear to you. When lost in a wandering mind, some delusional state, something happens in which there's knowing, oh, this is thinking. That's awake. And that gets clearer and clearer and clearer for me. It's not thinking. We can't. If we're thinking about, am I delusional, then that's more delusion. But being aware of thinking, being aware of emotion, being that which knows, that's the only clarity that I have, really. There's no accounting for taste. How about that? I think that really makes a lot of sense. That you should be. How old is your son? 28, right? So I think you should definitely ruin your life and worry constantly because your because your happiness depends upon whether he gets a job and is safe and secure. And I mean, but I understand this, of course. You know, there's this ridiculous thing that we do called having children. It's the strangest thing. Hi, honey, let's have a baby. Let's have a family, and of course, you know, it's normative and for many people, not everybody, but. It creates such a vulnerability. It does create so many learning circumstances, learning to love, and also profoundly learning to let go. That they make their own decisions, and some of them are really transparently crappy. But I think my parents might have said the same. You know, during my time with Sujata, my guru, we wound up in an intimate relationship. It was my years of exploring being gay, and we actually got kicked. We got kicked out of a gay bar in Venice for being too lewd. that was quite fun, but. I showed up. I'm thinking of my poor parents. We flew into New York, coming back from Europe, and then I showed up in Montreal with a full-length women's fur coat, which my parents didn't know what the hell to do with me. I mean, I was doing this strange cult trip, and they just kind of shook their heads and survived, I guess. So you got to let go. Yeah, I don't have a fur coat anymore. That's a drag. Oh, yeah. You know, I don't know. My mother came and she came to, I was teaching, and there were 35 or 40 people, and she came on a Sunday morning, and Sunday, anyway, whenever it was. And she didn't comment much afterwards. And then she said to my sister a day or two later, well, it's really weird what he's doing. But people seem to like him, so I think it's okay. Right. Well, maybe you should talk to him about it often and do it with intensity. Maybe write him letters, and you should be doing this, and you should be doing that. I mean, the only, yeah. I mean, good advice is worthwhile, but then we just have to let go. When's the last time you read the Khalil Gibran thing on children? Your children are not your children. Read it again and see what it means now. It's an incredible thing. He carried that document on his person for more than 25 years. The prophet, when he was writing it. So, your children are not your children. They are the fruits of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not of you, and it goes on. But it's so clear that line, your children are not your children. They are the fruits of life's longing for itself. And it has its own longings. Good luck with that, too. Thank you for being here so presently, Joy. Yeah. Hello, Amy. Yeah. Yep. That certainly fits my experience too. In everything. There's the non-dual. There's the nature where it's all stardust, and there's the other side where every action and choice is of great importance. And both are true, I think. A bit. Yeah. A bit. I think that's the challenge of the lifetime, really. Mm. Oh. Mm. 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 Very beautifully said and felt. Thank you. No more war. Hello, Eileen. Uh-huh. No. Mm. Yep. Thank you. Ah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Lovely. Comforting. Well, I must go. Please let us take a moment to see each other, to see the names that are here of people who don't have their cameras on, offering whatever that wordless way is of wishing well. There's no telling. To some degree, we know. There's a motor running outside. I hope it's not too noisy for you. We look at these various faces, and there's no telling what challenges we're facing unless we've shared them. But as my teacher, Rena Sirkar in San Francisco, used to say, given how difficult life is, how can we be anything but loving? So let's go out on the great blessing, Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. May all beings receive all blessings, and sadhu, may it be so, or it is thus. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you be safe. No more war. No more war. What a nice mantra. Peace, my friends. Thanks for coming this morning. Goodbye.